Hey, sit quietly for a moment. Take a slow, deep breath. I know there are days when it feels like nothing is changing. You've been praying, waiting, trusting, hoping. And yet sometimes life feels exactly the same as it did yesterday. The answers haven't arrived. The situation hasn't fully changed. The breakthrough you've been hoping for still feels far away. And if you're honest, there are moments when you quietly wonder, is God doing anything at all? Does Jesus see what I'm going through? Why does it feel like nothing is happening? But listen to this is not random. Jesus is speaking to you right now, and he's saying, I am working behind the scenes for you right now. Take another slow breath, and let those words settle gently into your spirit. Jesus says, I know waiting can feel difficult, especially when your heart is longing for peace, especially when you've prayed the same prayer more times than you can count, especially when life feels uncertain. Jesus says, but just because you cannot see movement does not mean I am standing still. Just because you cannot see the answer, yet does not mean I am not working. I am working in ways your eyes cannot yet see. Jesus says, I know there are moments when you feel discouraged. Moments when you wonder if your prayers are reaching heaven. Moments when silence makes you question whether anything is changing at all. But hear me gently, I hear every prayer, every whispered prayer, every tear-filled prayer, every prayer you spoke when nobody else was around. Jesus says not one of them has been ignored. Not one of them has been forgotten. Jesus says, I know you've been carrying concerns about the future. Concerns about family. Concerns about your health. Concerns about situations you cannot fully control. And because you cannot see immediate answers, your heart sometimes becomes weary. But I want you to know this, I am already working ahead of you. Jesus says, I am preparing things you cannot yet see, opening doors you do not yet know exist, arranging moments that will make sense later, and guiding circumstances quietly while you continue walking forward in faith. Jesus says, think about all the times in your life when something eventually worked out in a way you never could have predicted. At the time it felt confusing, uncertain, maybe even disappointing, but later you realized I was guiding you all along. Jesus says that is still true today. I am guiding you now just as faithfully as I guided you then. Jesus says, I know this season feels quiet, and quiet seasons can make people believe nothing is happening. But some of my greatest work happens quietly. Healing happens quietly. Peace grows quietly. Restoration begins quietly, and blessings are often prepared quietly before they arrive. Jesus says, I know there are things you wish would change immediately, pain that you wish would disappear, questions you wish were answered, burdens you wish would become lighter. And while I understand that desire, I need you to trust me in the waiting. Jesus says, because even when you cannot see progress, I am still moving, still guiding, still protecting, still making a way forward. Jesus says, I know there are moments when loneliness tries to convince you that you've been forgotten. Moments when disappointment whispers that your prayers no longer matter. But those thoughts are not telling you the truth, because I have never forgotten you. Not once. Jesus says, I know your name, I know your story. I know every burden you've carried, every tear you've cried, every fear you've wrestled with, and I care about all of it. Jesus says, you are not just another person in a crowd to me. You are deeply loved, deeply known, and deeply cared for. Jesus says, even now while you listen to these words, I am working behind the scenes, strengthening your spirit, calming your fears, preparing peace for your future, and teaching your heart how to trust me more deeply. Jesus says one day you will look back on this season and realize something beautiful. The season that felt silent was not silent at all. The season that felt empty was full of my unseen work. The season that felt uncertain was actually preparing you for greater peace than you imagined. Jesus says, so stop believing that nothing is happening. Stop believing that your waiting is wasted. Stop believing that your prayers are being ignored, because I am already working, already moving, already preparing what comes next. Jesus says you may not see it today, you may not understand it tomorrow, but in time you will see my hand in this season. You will see how I protected you, guided you, comforted you, and carried you through every uncertain moment. Jesus says for now, keep trusting, keep praying, keep walking forward one step at a time, and remember this truth: I am working behind the scenes for you right now, even when you cannot see it, even when you cannot feel it, even when you do not understand it. I am working, always. If this message encouraged your heart, type Jesus is working FORME in the comments. And remind yourself today, just because you cannot see what God is doing does not mean He has stopped working. Jesus is already moving on your behalf.